On a recent string of victories from AEW Rampage, will NXT pick up the pace or will Rampage continue its hot streak? Tune in to find out. It's going to be a good one. Stay tuned. Roll intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another edition of HCW Show Squared. The show take the usual format or formula of the HCW show and expand it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host, Dan DP, or we all say DPZ. And before we get into things, just give a quick, again, thank you to everyone who interacts with our videos, whether it's likes, subscriptions, comments, anything that you guys say, anything that you guys do helps us towards our goals. And as always, above my head, actually no, not above my head, not just yet, there we go, above my head now, are the social medias that we use. So we have our Twitter, I always forget, Twitter's that way, Instagram, our Threads, our Twitter, and our Facebook. Threads is a little bit bare at the moment, but that's because we've just forgotten about it, and we've been busy. So we'll get round to it again, and when we do, we do. But if you just follow any of those, we greatly appreciate it and help us get towards our goals. And we're aiming to, progress forward and, keep the train chugging, so to speak. But without any further ado, let's get cracking into this review. So we'll kick things off with WWE NXT for the 28th of November. So we kick things off straight away with some tag team title action between the family and Angel and Humberto, the former Los Lotharios. Not sure what their new tag team name is, or they'll still be called Los Lotharios. I don't know. The family, the current champions are Tony D'Angelo and Channing Lorenzo of Stacks. But yeah, so straight into the action. There's no bell yet. Bell rings eventually. Get into the match itself. The family win and retain after a bada bing, bada boom on Angel Garza. I rated it 3 stars. It was a good opener for a tag team championship match. There's plenty of action, high speed, athleticism, physicality, even some near falls. I have to say that I am surprised by the decision to have Angel and Humberto challenge so quickly. I assume they're going to be building up for it to, eventually dethrone the family, but I guess not. And this was a semi-clean win too, despite the unintentional low blow from Channing. Ultimately, though, I do feel that there'll be more for these two teams in the future, but the right call was made here as the champs retained, which they should do at this point. They've just won them like a week ago, last week, wherever it was. Backstage, Nathan Frazier is talking backstage with Axiom and a few others when he mentions seeing the different lifestyles between Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov. Of course, he'd much rather have Baron's life of luxury as opposed to Ilya's life of, barren disparity. Unfortunately for him, though, Ilya's actually in the locker room. He's actually in the area and he overhears Nathan talking. He's not happy that Nathan said it's behind his back because he thought that they had mutual respect for each other. And he does mention that, they need to have a match to settle their differences. Fucking sign me up for that. Backstage still. Josh Briggs is here with Brooks Jensen and Fallon Henley. He's hyped about qualifying for the Iron Survivor match and beating Carmelo Hayes to do it. He's with Glee and, he's very happy. In comes Lexus King, though, to spoil it. And he basically comes in to take credit for the win. And then he praises Briggs for, for him and Fallon, for their matches and the qualifications part. He then mocks Brooks for not being chosen to be part of the qualifying matches. Briggs then gets in his face, turns the back off, and then we get a tease for a match later on. It's interesting to see at this point what WWE have Brian Pillman Jr. doing, considering the fact that, again, you do the comparison with WWE and AEW, and you see the major difference. Like in NXT, he's getting TV time, he's doing character work. On AEW, he was, a varsity blonde. He was, with him and Griff Garrison, it was always a case of low-rate tag team, not high on the tier list whatsoever. So it's interesting to see them doing this with him. We're going now into an Iron Survivor qualifier. It's Kalani Jordan and Kiana James. Kalani wins after a top rope split-legged moonsault. I rated this 2.5 stars. It was alright, in my opinion. It was a good enough match to do what it meant to do. Kalani's a pretty good a good athlete, but she does seem a little bland in my opinion. But hey, it's NXT. It's developmental. It's fine. She has a good future, I reckon. Kiana is in a similar boat. She's not bland, but her ability in the ring is a little lacking. She knows her character though. She knows how to be a heel in any given situation. The ending to me was predictable, given how Kiana interfered in Roxanne's match last week. I do fear though that the interference is way too common in NXT, and it does weaken people when it's done on a regular basis. It also doesn't help Kalani because it just shows that she could have beat Kiana without outside help. So, just my 2 cents, but I think they should stop with the interference constantly. It's fine to do it every now and then, but don't do it constantly like you're doing in NXT. We get a strange Twitter or X post from Anonymous. They reveal that Lexis King may have attacked Trick Williams. There we go, I've got it there. But notice how I said may have attacked, because it just shows Trick coming into the arena, going to a separate room, and then Lexis follows him into that room. We don't know entirely what's going on there. He might have attacked him, they might be lovers. You don't necessarily know. But yeah, they're doing this whole like, oh, look at this, it's Lexis, it's absolutely Lexis, it can't be anyone but Lexis. But I don't know. I mean, on the same track though, it could be a case of like Rikishi and Steve Austin. Like, someone paid someone to do it, or let's just pay someone to do it for him. I don't know. Either way, I still think it's Carmelo or maybe Wesley as a crazy little wild card pick there for that. Backstage in a vignette sort of thing, Andre Chase breaks his silence. There's some kind of press stand conference area thing set up for Andre Chase for Chase U to address the allegations that the university are facing. There have been allegations of misuse of university funds and gambling. That's stuff like that. He refuses to reveal how much money is owed by the university, but he has an idea of where the public got the information from, the leak. Andre reveals that if that isn't solved, the university will be in jeopardy, and that he'll address the student body in the next assembly. We believe in Chase U to get through this and to get back on their feet. We at HCW send our well wishes and fortune luck over to the people of Chase University to get better and to get back to winning ways, win the tag belts again, and sort out whatever issues you and JC have, Andre. I know you're not watching this, but if you ever do, we support you. Back to our Irons of Iron qualifier. Bron Breakker takes on Eddie Thorpe. Bron wins, of course, with a spear. I rated this 2 3/4 stars. Basic. It didn't do much for either person. Eddie was injured, and yet it took Bron 10 minutes to get the win, despite going after the ribs. It was alright. It was meh. It did what it set out to do, but there was no conceivable way and Eddie was winning this match. I'm glad there was no interference, but I don't know. They're both highly talented guys. Like, Eddie Thorpe has not shown much of anything since he left. But when he was Carl Fredericks in New Japan Dojo, he was really good. This is not nothing. The match was just there. I find the booking confusing as well for this, because you got Thorpe and he's like wrestling other guys like Gulak and these goons, and he's wrestling this match with an injury. So why put him with Bron? But yeah, I mean, even in ring, like, Bron is a lot better than Eddie, so I don't know necessarily. Backstage, Trick is angry that Lexis King might have attacked him. Carmelo is here though, and he's more than willing to shift the blame onto Lexis. He literally comes to the locker room after Trick, saying that, "Yo, it's Lexis who attacked him. That attacked you, man. It's stupid." He wants to attack Lexis in retaliation, but Trick wants to focus on himself and not risk getting hurt. Carmelo seems to be more willing to do that than Trick. Remain backstage. Roxanne is happy that Kiana James didn't qualify for the Iron Survivor. She's informed by Ava Raine, of all people, who's seemingly not in a cult anymore, that there's going to be a last chance match for the women's qualifier, and Roxanne has her hopes up. But Tiffany Stratton is also here, and she says that Kiana James will win it, and then the fight breaks out in the locker room. Then we get the match I was talking about. Ilya Dragunov against Nathan Frazier. It's happening tonight, happening right now. Ilya wins the 2 H-bombs. I rated this 3 3/4 stars. This is exactly what I wanted. This is really good. It was only 5 minutes, and it was hands down the best thing on the show so far. Ilya is so good. Nathan is also really good, but Ilya is so goddamn good. I think I have it like Gunter and then Ilya and then everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but you know what I mean. Um, I appreciate that this was a simple, you chat shit about me, you find out sort of match. Surprised it was like more or less a squash, to be honest. But Ilya was fighting for his pride, so I get it. Frazier did get some spots in though, so maybe it wasn't really a squash, but it certainly wasn't a back and forth sort of match. Anyway, I enjoyed it, and it's probably the best thing on the card so far. Post match, Baron Corbin appears on the Titantron to mock Ilya. Cool, I guess. It says up there a bit more, I guess. We get an interview now with Lyra Valkyria. She hypes up Deadline, but is then interrupted by Fallon Henley. They're very pleasant with each other. They exchange pleasantries and look forward to an eventual match between the two of them should Fallon win her last chance match, and then the Iron Survivor itself. But in the background, and the only reason why I'm even covering this section of the show, is a returning Tatum Paxley. She looks different, but she's hanging around the background area and seems to be targeting either Lyra or Fallon. So should be interesting to see what they do with that. We get a weird video vignette thing with Joe Gacy. He's chilling under the ring, apparently. He's there because people believe that he's under them, so he made those people correct. I don't know what's going on, but there's currently a match going on as he's filming this, so I don't know who's fighting in the ring while he's under the ring. And then next match we have Carmen Petrovic against Ariana Grace. This feud spawned because Ariana is an advocate for peace and harmony, but Carmen isn't, and isn't a fan of her talking, so now they're fighting. I think that's the main crux of it. Ariana wins with a thumb to the eye and a wasteland. I don't know what Ariana calls it. It's like the fireman's carry slam thing. But I was just freak out. There's no bell. Why? Because Joe Gacy has it. He's now in the audience and he's ringing the bell like a madman. I don't know, but I will say, seeing Unhinged Gacy playing with like Ariana's music, which is like the weird sort of like 20s jazz lounge music sort of thing, it has an ominous sense to it, and I do kind of like it. I rated it 2.5 stars. It was slow, but it was fine. Again, like most of the show, it did what it set out to do. Ariana and Carmen are both green in the ring, and their ability will improve with time. Again, this is a developmental show. It's not a main show. But that's a main part of her character. Carmen has a black belt. That's it. She needs more character. But again, I keep saying that this is a developmental brand, so I can't really mark it down for anything like that. It's just something to keep an eye on for now. Ariana's character work already has a lot of positives. She's a very good, oblivious heel. Like she thinks she's doing a lot of right, but in reality, she's just annoying everyone. So it's quite fun. But yeah, they can probably go on to other things now. I don't want this to continue on. I don't reach the point of it. Next match. Brooks Jensen taking on Lexis King. Lexis wins with the coronation, which is like a side sweep takedown thing, which is similar to like Hong Kong Man's shake, rattle, and roll, if you're familiar with it. After a failed interference from Carmelo Hayes. I rated it 2.5 stars. I didn't really get what the point of the match was. It didn't add anything. It didn't help Lexis, nor did it help Brooks. The only benefit I can see from this is the failed interference from Carmelo after having a smooth trick, agreeing that they both wouldn't try anything in his match and try to cost him or attack him or anything like that. So I imagine we'll get a follow-up at some point, either next week or tonight, where Trick and Carmelo talk about it. But there's only one match left for the night, and I forgot about this match when writing this up. We have the match where if Wesley wins, he'll get a North American title match. But if he loses, he can never challenge the title again. Wesley, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, and Johnny fucking Gargano. Wesley wins following a cardiac kick to Cameron Grimes. I rated this 4.25. This was amazing. Not surprised though when you have the quality of the guys in this match. The speed of Wesley, the attack of Cameron Grimes, the strength of Bronson Reed, and the technical ability of Gargano. This may have been the best non-PLE match that WWE have put on in a while. I don't mean just NXT, I mean Raw and SmackDown too. This was really good. Any other immediate examples I can also think of are also in NXT, like the Carmelo Ilya series and stuff like that, but I don't know if they're PLEs or not. NXT is, the brand in WWE. Maybe not for storytelling, but for quality matches, yes. I would admit it was a predictable result, but the way they got there was really good. Again, there was interference, but the way it was done and the way it got Bronson out of the match, so it made more sense for the three. I liked it. I'm not a fan of it generally, but in this context, it made sense to do it. Overall, I really enjoyed the match. 4.25 stars, sorry, and yeah, Wesley's getting his title match at Deadline. To end the show, though, we don't end on Wesley's stand at all. We don't even end on Carmelo and Trick. We react to the fallout of Lesnar's victory with Brooke Jensen. Instead, we go to the parking lot, as we always do in NXT at some point, where Roxanne Perez and Kiana James are fighting in the middle of the road. And that's the end of NXT. So without any further ado, we will go ahead to Rampage. There we go. We're back with Rampage notes for the 1st of December. So we kick things off with the big 8-man tag match. The best friends, Ciampa Beretta, Orange Cassidy, and Danhausen, and The Hook teaming up to face against Matt Menard, Angela Parker, Evil Uno, and Alex Reynolds. The best friends and Hook win when Danhausen rolls up Matt Menard. I rated it 2.75 stars. I guess it was okay. It just felt like a throwaway 8-man. Wheeler Yuta jumped on commentary after the match began, so he went on Hook, who I presume is the next challenger for the pure title. Other than that, it was just a lot of mess and a lot of losing track of what was happening. There was stuff with Hager's hat too towards the end, but Hager does not in fact get his hat back. So yeah, moving on. The next match of the night is the Don Callis family, Powerhouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, and Carl Fletcher taking on 3 unnamed opponents. We'll call them John Doe 1, 2, and 3. So the match begins and it's over. All 3 members of the family hit like plantation moves or drivers on the 3 other guys. I can't rate this. It was a squash. 30 seconds, maybe not even that. It had nothing going. There was nothing. There was a promo post match from Callis. That was about it. Where he basically calls out Jericho and Omega. That was it. Next match. The Outcasts, Saraya and Ruby Soho team up with Anna Jay to take on the team of Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Sky Blue. Team Chris Statlander wins after a code blue on Ruby Soho from Sky Blue. I rated 2.25 stars. Again, this felt similar to the first match. There was no real progression in anything. The real progression is the stuff happening between Saraya and Ruby, and Ruby's budding friendship with Angela Parker. Other than that, there's nothing really going on in this match. They seem to be fully splitting the Outcasts too, that could be good, but I don't really know if Saraya could do a solos run. I could be wrong. We then move on to the main event. Brian Cage teams up with the Workhorsemen, Anti-Emi and JD Drake, taking on the team of Penta El Zero Miedo, Commander, and El Hijo del Vikingo. Team Penta win with a 6:30 senton from Vikingo on Anti-Emery. I rated this 3.25 stars. This was the standout match of the show. Not hard to do, really. But nothing to shout about. It was kind of obvious when you consider that the guys in the match were Brian Cage, who isn't that well used, but he's used kind of fairly. And then you have the Workhorsemen, who aren't that big on AEW TV. Like, they're good workers, they're a really good team on the indie scene, but with AEW, they get the short end of the stick a lot of the time. So that's why, to me, it was quite obvious they would be the ones taking the pin here. It was a good match, despite the ability, though, but as I said before, nothing to really shout about. And that was Rampage. Rampage was nothing, really. A lot of average matches. It was just a New Japan tour show. Basically, there was 6-man tag, 8-man tag, 6-man tag, 8-man tag. It was ridiculous. The only things that were made that really of any note were we built towards Yuta and Hook at some point in the future, and also Saraya and Ruby's eventual split. And that was the end of that. And that brings an end to this review, to this episode of HCW Show Squared. As always, all opinions are above. Mine is over here. I will get it right one day. It's over here, mine. So if you want to give me a follow, then by all means, please do it. That would be hugely appreciated. And again, all opinions are above my head here as well. because follow on those would be hugely appreciated. And also with the video itself, please give it a like, or subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. You know, say what you like, say what you don't like. Do you want me to cover more shows? Do you want me to cover something else, like instead of Rampage or instead of NXT? I'm open to suggestions. I'm not gonna do like the Raw, SmackDown, Collision stuff or Dynamite, but like anything else in the indie world, like MLW tapings or fucking NWA. If there is appeal for it, I will watch it and I will give it an honest rating. But other than that, I will bid you adieu. I've been Dan, DB, and as always, stay frosty. Peace.